friends, it's Deanna Williston from Our Blooming Catholic Life, and you know I'm so inspired by John Bradburne. Well, here he is with his little personal shrine, which he called the Ark, and I have this. Woohoo! Hi friends, it's Deanna Williston with Our Blooming Catholic Life, and here I am today with our new Crafternoon project. I have here an old jewelry box. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see it. So up on the top you can see it's got these little spindly doors. This is probably from the 60s because my mom said it was from before I was born, so I'm guessing this was from the 60s, maybe very early 70s. So it doesn't have the glass fronts that you're going to find in a lot of the ones from the 90s. You can see they have these little drawers. The drawers were all lined with velvet. The drawers are actually in really good condition, but they are probably going to have to go, although they're adorable and have adorable little buttons. See those little knobs? I think those are adorable, so we may find a use for them later. Of course, we may actually have to put them back. I don't know yet, because what I'd like to do is take this divider out, and you can see kind of, it's a little wiggly, so I may be able to get it out. The drawers on the bottom are all velvet lined with spots for rings and boxes as well. I don't really wear jewelry, so I don't need these for that, but I was thinking, you can see the damage from over the years. Like, this needs something done. Even if it's going to stay a jewelry box, it would need something done to it, right? So after watching Pinterest stuff a lot, first I've gone and cleaned it really well. You can see I'm still not done because I didn't take everything out completely and do it, and I may have to like take the doors off and the hinges and scrub it some more, but it had its one really good cleaning. I was responsible for cleaning this as a child. I used some sort of spray oil cleaner thing and some kind of soft cloth. I can't remember what, but obviously my mom revealed this was bought from Kmart, so maybe it was not the highest quality, but it's okay. We're going to fix it up. I bought, on the advice of Pinterest, chalk paint. And you can see I got a lovely Marian blue. You can even see where I got it from. Lovely Marian kind of blue, and then it has this white wax finish that you rub over the top to kind of give it like a milk paint or distressed look. So that's my goal. I do want it to be kind of blue, but not crazy intense. Like, this is really intense, right? But it's so Marian. So I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out. We'll see. I did get a sand block because, especially on these really rough areas here, I'm gonna have to try and sand those out, as well as all these tiny, can we see, we're killing ourselves, these tiny little hinges are gonna have to come out, so I redo this, as well as these spindles may give me fits. I'm not entirely sure. Hey, maybe they will stay brown and the rest of the door will be blue. That's always an option. I hadn't even considered that. I was freaking out so much about those spindles, but you know what? I really don't have to paint them. They might look lovely staying that lighter color. See, in my mind, I forgot that they were a lighter color to start with. Oh, that could work. That's really nice. And of course, I may always replace this, but this is kind of like a pineapple hardware here. It's really cute. I think up here, these used to be magnet closures. One of them isn't quite lined up, but they're actually do really well. So I just need to be cognizant of that as I do it. Again, the goal is going to be to get this out of here. And so we could put a little statue of Mary. I'm hoping to be able to have it nicely decorated inside, almost wallpaper it, and then to be able to put a statue to Mary in there, maybe even some little light source. And this is going to go on my desk. I'm redoing my entire bedroom upstairs to make more of a studio for me up there, to be able to record for you. And so I'm kind of excited to have this there as a prayerful moment. It's like before I do videos and stuff. It's not that I don't pray normally before I do the videos, but I'm not in a prayer space, if that makes sense. And I think that's going to be a lot easier. I keep trying to convert like corners of the dining room and the living room to prayer spaces, and they sort of are, but you know, having a really dedicated space for that is just going to be so much better. And even if this is sitting next to my monitor, like, I can open it up and just really focus. This is pretty large. This is not small. You know, here's my paint stick. It's just an average paint stick, and you could see it's like, I mean, it's more than a paint stick and a half tall. More than a paint stick and a half tall. So, it's pretty big. So that's my goal. I'm just going to do it in stages, so I'm going to film these in stages. Obviously, I'm in the cleaning stage, and then I'm going to attempt to remove these guys, and if that's successful, then I may attempt to remove the hardware. I think that the velvet's in really good shape, but I'm going to have to try and figure out how to vacuum in here. Maybe I can use that can of air that my husband has for the computer. I'm not sure, but you can see there's definitely dust, but the velvet itself is in really good shape. So I'm kind of excited. If you've got ideas for other people, obviously I'm going to have finished this by the time you see it, but if you have ideas for other people or you see something I'm doing horribly wrong, put it in the comments below to share with others. Okay, this was just step one. Stay tuned for a second. I'm back. I thought you may be interested in seeing the can of air experiment. Please make sure you have a can of air and not WD-40. Just saying. Oh, if you really get in there, look at that. I think my husband would have a heart attack if he saw me doing this. He doesn't watch the channel. Oh my goodness, how do you make this work? And that is why sometimes I film it, because I didn't even believe it would work. Look at that. It is not a perfect job because the air's freezing up there. But wow. Okay, this is foam from it freezing up, but look how much better that is. Oh my goodness. Okay, this felt is definitely redeemable. I've just invented a new technique for doing it, and hopefully I can get a tiny little vacuum cleaner or something in there. Maybe my son has a car vacuum cleaner. Maybe that would finish it off. Wow, look at that. So impressed. Look, you weren't even going to believe it. The best way to pull this is, look, a little bit this side, a little bit this side, a little bit this side, a little bit this side. How exciting is this? I'm getting a section of this out. This is totally possible. Okay, this one seems to be glued in a little bit more strongly, so there may be some sawing off here in the end, but look at this. It's starting to come together. There does seem to be some structural pieces back here. That's not going to be a real problem for me. Like I said, I'm probably going to wallpaper over it. You can see this is like a really cheap board back here with this. I'm just thinking even some lovely craft paper to use as wallpaper, or again, it may just be painted. It's really rough. One of the things, if you're buying this at a thrift store and stuff, like I ran my hand along the back and legit pulled up splinters. I am going to be sanding this. I got one of those little sanding blocks. It's one fine sand on the other and a fine sand on the other. What is this? 150 and 220. Because this isn't super rough, but it's not super smooth, right? Oh, this is so exciting. I wonder if the others will come out. Once you get it wiggled a little bit, it starts moving. It's so exciting. You're probably like, she's back already? Look what I just realized. I pulled the drawer out, and these are movable shelves in here, so these could pop straight out. Look, these aren't glued in at all on the bottom, so these could all come out if I want. Sorry, so much dust. I was actually considering leaving these. I don't think these fit in there now. I was going to put holy medals and holy cards in these. That's what I was considering doing with the bottom drawers. Be a great place for rosaries, holy cards, and holy medals. So I'm still kind of excited for that. My little Office of the Blessed Virgin Mary would so fit in that shelf. Oh, friends, I'm so excited. My little smaller prayer books are probably going to fit in here. It's out. Okay, it all came out except this one little piece at the bottom. And the top lifted just a smidge as I was doing it, so I really kept an eye on that to make sure it didn't come out anymore. I can totally glue that later. I did quick research, and since this is, I know this is from Kmart, if you're getting it at the thrift store, you may not be able to find the manufacturer on it. This piece seems really solidly glued, so I may try and work it a little bit more, but I did find that you can use, it's wood glue, you can use water or white vinegar, and you could actually get like a rag wet with vinegar and sit around it, or you can make a little pinhole, small hole to dry and get that glue down the joint. Maybe use like what am I thinking? Like a putty knife or something, and score right along the base here before you put that rag with vinegar, just so you could get in that joint a little bit. But we are making way more progress than I thought was possible, and I'm super excited. Because I feel like an idiot. Look. Doink, doink. I was trying to force it forward, and it just like fell over. Yeah, there's a little old glue on there. So I'm probably gonna have to sand this out to clean that out. It came out like this is gonna be a reality, friends. I'm so excited because this was my mom's and my dad bought it for her. And no, their marriage didn't work out, but it's a sweet memory for me. And he bought it for her like right before I was born. And so to me, it's still personal and sweet, and I really want to restore it. Now, I've heard that you can go to like Goodwill and stuff and try not to spend more than like $10 on these jewelry boxes to refurbish, because you saw how shaky and dangerous it kind of was as I ripped this out and that the top came off a little bit. So if you invest too much, you're not going to be willing to demo it. I mean, I really did try and take a little bit more care. I mean, this isn't the most precious thing in the world to me, but it is a sweet memory, and I'm hoping to restore it. So I am super excited. Yay! Let the fun begin. Sand it down. The handle does not come off, as well as the magnetic latches. And look, though, I scraped up the spindles, which I didn't want to do. So new theory there. Sure, I'll come up with something. So I wanted to show you quick how I'm doing this. This is, can you see this? This is a tiny screwdriver. This is size PH1, it looks like. This is a little screwdriver set that you would get to tighten your glasses, the little screws in your glasses. So you can find these all over. So can I get a really good light? So what I'm doing is going through, some of these are stuck. I'm just kind of loosening them one by one, just a tiny bit, until they're all loosened. Then I'll go back, loosen, there's a lower set of hinges. So I'm gonna loosen that one a little bit. And then I will start taking them off. It's really great if you can still keep this set. So this is holding it up. It's actually held up, see, by the jewelry box itself. Otherwise, just get somebody to stand here and hold this so it's not wiggling around and you're not like ripping the holes that the screws go in bigger. So I'm going to sand this door, and then honestly I can probably just take the drawers out, sand everything down, and get it ready for our first coat of paint tonight. So I'm pretty excited. Friends, I just wanted to get some of that black gunk off, so I soaked the hinges in vinegar. Friends, we're on day 2. You can see I've painted the shelving inside and that little slat there gold. It's drying. When it dries, it's a lot more solid looking. It's kind of in between. I haven't decided what to do with the roof. I kind of feel like I can just leave that plain, but I really wanted the sides gold. And then I've cut out this scrapbook paper. That's gonna go get decoupaged in the back, and I really tried to fit it in. So it actually, those wooden slats there are gonna hold it in, and that's gonna be decoupaged in the back. And I think that's lovely because it's got the gold up top. I think that's gonna blend in really nice. That's my next goal, is to get that decoupaged in. Yeah, because I almost think I want to leave this brown. I was tempted to do this in the blue, but I think almost as the ground, you know, because I have like a sky scene here in the gold, I think leaving this very inside brown here is going to work. And then I'm going to start painting the blue chalkboard paint. Sorry, the blue chalk paint on all the outside features. God bless. I used my Mod Podge that we've been using over and over. I put it on, spread it on the back of our paper. I'm going to put our paper in, and then another coat of Mod Podge on the front side. Here we are. I have this decoupaged in. You can see, yeah, I did it around. Remember, there were 2 boards back here to hold that frame in from when we had the drawers. That's why there are these little niches here. That's all about that framework for the drawers that I took out. So as well, I tucked the paper in between here, in between these rails, and went over those. I considered doing the wallpaper thing where it's an illusion and I'm actually wallpapered it, you know, done the angles there. I didn't want to do that. 1, it's too hard. 2, it's too hard. And it's a little loose up on the top, but it seems to be sticking really well. I know I'm still going to have to do another sealer coat later, but I think it looks really great. The last thing is, we talked about when we use decoupage again, anytime you use decoupage or gesso, you can try and add like a texture to your piece. Well, my background already had like a spongy texture, so I made sure in this one that it was very random with my brush strokes instead of being very particular to make sure they all went one direction like we would normally do with a nice paint job. Okay, friends, so I'm getting ready for the chalk paint. Hi, friends. So you can see I'm still here. I've set up to do the blue chalk paint here on our jewelry box. Now, I want you to notice I've gone and gotten an apron that's pre-stained. Yes, it's adorable little owls, but already has stain on it, so I'm not going to be super worried if I get paint on it. Wanted to show you quick here. Here's how the sanding of the crack turned out. I think it turned out pretty well. This is paintable. Wood putty, I'll show you in a second. And it actually starts out pink and it turns this fleshy color when it's ready to be sanded. I'll get that for you as well. You can see I have put out newspaper. I have my paint stick, my paint key. Hold on just a second. I know I'm going to drive you nuts. So this is the kit here that we got for the wood putty. We actually got that for filling in carpenter bee holes, but it worked because it's still wood and it's paintable interior, exterior. Okay, so we're going to give this a shot. I'm going to take you along with me here. Here's my paint can. Okay, I'm going to switch angles. So I wanted to capture this a little bit. First, I'm making sure that is the color that I meant to get. Next thing, I'm going to use this awesome little paint key they gave me. I actually never had one of these. I usually use a screwdriver, or I have like an old baby spoon I use. This is working a little better. It's got that great little curved edge on there. Loving that. Okay, I have to go around the whole way. I know for some people this is boring, but others this craft is going to be a little bit more intimidating, so we're going to take our time. Always want to double check. Yes, this is the color I asked for. Yay. The next step is super important, friends, and it's super silly. A lot of people, you know, are like, this is a silly craft. I don't need to do this, but you do really need to stir up your paint. You're going to go ahead and do that, and I just want to see roughly what this is going to look like on. I can use my paint stick a little bit as a paint tray so it's not quite so drippy. Did you see that giant drip? Don't need a giant drip. Okay, here we go. First lines. This is going to be super exciting. So I'm going to go across. I'm starting at the top because things drip from the top. And I'm going to get the whole top covered and see, then I'm going to come back and do this edge nice. So I'm going to do this and then do that edge. So I'll see you in a bit. So I had to paint everything with 2 coats with 2 hours between each coat. Hi friends, it's Deanna Williston from Our Catholic Life, back again. Everything is pretty much painted. I didn't paint the tiny little drawers that came out of the cabinet in here. Sorry. And so this is first phase. I've painted everything. 2 coats, you have to let it dry for 2 hours between coats. And then you'll see these little brass handles here. They are actually nailed on with a tiny little finishing nail, and so I did not pop any of these off. I didn't take the handles off the doors either, and so of course I got some paint on them. As perfect as I was trying to be, I'm using an old craft brush. I would recommend that you get a really nice flat brush to get under those and around them, but either way you're probably going to make mistakes. Now you remember when we had our little screwdriver set? We used the Phillips head to get the hinges off, but if you grab one of these little flat ones, you can scratch the paint off the handles. A lot of the ideas I saw on Pinterest and other websites, they painted over all of them. You could totally do that, but I'm not painting over the hinges. I don't know. I just didn't even want to try that. I think it looks nice as it is. I guess if it looks horrible once I put the wax on, I may do it. So I'm going back in. I'm going to use my little can opener they gave me at the store to open my can of wax. These shots are a little tricky. I could have gotten my overhead camera, but it's going to hook to the same table I'm working on, and I'm going to be rubbing this on. Those definitely would have been shaking. So I just have one of my rags that comes in one of my environmental subscription boxes. It says, try and read these directions. After painting the entire surface with the chalk decorative paint, allow a minimum of 2 hours to dry. Caveat, caveat. Use a National Bristle brush or a lint-free rag to apply the wax. Spread it evenly over the surface. Allow it to dry before buffing. It doesn't give us any idea on how much time that's going to take. So focus on highlighting your best features of the piece by working the wax into small crevices and then reapply wax as needed. Okay, it's like a shoe polish, really soft shoe polish consistency here. If you use like mink oil or something. And so I'm going to spread it all over this. It said to highlight your features, make sure you're getting crevices. You can see I've got lots of crevices. So I'm starting here with these doors. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a nice coat. I'm starting with the doors partly because they're two-sided. They're my only two-sided feature in the whole project. Definitely like a waxy, almost a lemony smell going on here. There is a little bit of an odor that's gonna bother you. I have no idea, friends, if you have to like go with the grain or how you put wax on, if it matters, because we're gonna be buffing it off later. And I don't know how it's gonna look. Am I gonna want multiple cracks? But I definitely want to get the white in all those cracks. You can see it's not going very gently. I'm not sure how I'm gonna prop up that second side. Okay, the spindles are easier to deal with than I thought. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it till this is at least dry and you can see it, and then we'll come back when we're buffing. Hopefully we'll be done with this project eventually in time for you to see it. I'm hoping tomorrow, so wish me luck, say a prayer. Okay, so everything is fully waxed, and I'll be honest, it has to dry 2 hours, and it was much harder to wipe that wax back off, but I did it, and I'm really, really pleased with the results. I don't have an actual statue of Mary yet, but you can see how beautiful this is going to be. God bless.